intro again.
And
Hello and welcome to Kota to Kimchi, the podcast where we explore the captivating stories, diverse characters, and cultural intricacies of Korean dramas with a South African twist. Join us, Rwanda and Gugu, on an exciting cross-cultural journey as we dissect K-dramas, discuss their impact, and share our unique perspective. Kota to Kimchi is about K-dramas, our love for K-dramas. And I think it was birthed from a time where I can't even remember which one we had watched or which one I had watched, but I was like bombing your cell phone.
Wasn't it not The Good Bad Mother?
It was before that.
Was it before that?
Way before The Good Bad Mother.
Vincenzo?
No, it was after Vincenzo. I can't remember which one it was, but
if we were to go into the archives, we'll definitely find out because we keep such things.
But me and my anxious anxiety, I don't even know what you want to call it. I always want to know what's possible after I've figured out all of the possible, end routes that a storyline can go. And if I'm not satisfied, I will be sending people voice notes. And she's Sherlock main
Holmes
culprit.
It. Yeah, no. So listen. So London Neem doesn't play, right? So she'll send me at 11 o'clock at night, right? 8-minute long voice notes trying to dissect and, worst of all, trying to get me to spill the plot. Now, like after 10 o'clock, the gremlins come out. So you're like filtered Liz. But I held it together and I'm like, London Neem, you have to watch it yourself. I cannot spoil it for you.
And she's been consistent in that.
Yep.
Like she never, even the next scene, she never even reveals. She did a break once.
Which one?
With, not even, I won't even call it a break, but with, what is this one that we've been watching now? What are we talking about today?
Queen of Tears.
Queen of Tears.
Tears.
Where I was losing my mind after a few episodes, and she's just like, if you haven't gotten to episode 8, basically, shut it. I was like, oh, you know what? I can deal with that. I can deal with the fact that this is nothing.
Yeah.
And episode 8 is where we're going. And that calmed me down. No jokes. That settled me and I carried on. And then, yes, lo and behold, we got to episode 8 and
things were revealed. But we'll get into that shortly.
Yes.
And when did you start watching K-dramas?
2022. Early 2022. One of our good friends eventually won me over, and it was indirect because I've got a love-hate relationship with reality shows, and then she got me hooked with Singles Inferno.
Oh, is that how you got in?
Yeah. Oh. And then she's like, okay, now if you can watch Singles Inferno, then try this one. Yeah. And then we went in. I think I did Crash Landing on You. That was my first one, and it was rough. Those first 4-5 episodes were rough. I kept texting her and be like, what is this? Like, what is happening? Like, what? But then eventually the story started kicking in and I was like, okay, I'm hooked. And it's been, smooth sailing since. Well, rocky sailing at times, but smooth sailing since.
Yeah. And because they will take us through all of the emotions.
Yeah.
So same friend, kept on talking about K-dramas. And I'm like, started watching a couple. I'm like, what is this thing? And then I saw a K-drama recommendation. I cannot remember even which one was my first one. I think it was Marriage Contract. If you haven't seen Marriage Contract, you are sleeping on. Yo!
I haven't.
You have not?
No.
Phew. So that was 2021 July. I started with Marriage Contract and I have been a lost cause ever since then. Ever since then. Yeah.
We are gathered here today
to join in holy matrimony.
And tears.
Hong Hae In and Baek Hyun Woo. Take us through it, London.
So guys, this drama is called Queen of Tears, right? even before we start, spoiler alert, the spoiler of spoilers of spoiler alerts. We going in. If you're not ready, if you haven't watched it, short left to the exit. But do come back because it's going to be worth it. But yes, 16 movies
Yeah, it was.
of a drama because
Wait,
each episode
was 1.5.
was on average 1.5 hours.
Let's not scare the people. Let's just say it was 1 hour 20 minutes. Nyana. It's doable.
We'll go with 120 minutes nyana. You know, these young Netflix movies that we come.
Yeah, vignettes, really.
Right. 16 of them. And when we say the plot thickens and the plot twists, intense stuff, but really, really worth it. I remember finishing it and being like, there's no other way that it could have ended. There's no other way that those characters could have fulfilled their roles outside of how they did it and the way they did it. But the writers,
Who are the writers? Please, I think just for reference, we need to know that the writer of Queen of Tears is the same person who brought to us Crash Landing on You.
Yes.
If you remember the waterworks, or if you have yet to discover the waterworks, that is Crash Landing on You.
I hear the theme song, the soundtrack song, and I feel emotional just from Crash Landing on You.
Yeah.
Yes, so...
I don't know if you can see. It's that lady.
Yeah.
She was giving us all of the trauma. So she was responsible for Queen of Tears and Crash Landing on You and Legend of the Blue Sea and My Love from a Star. Enough said.
All solid and respectable in their own rights. But this one, I feel like was the queen of them all. Like she went above and beyond.
Yeah.
She delivered. And it starts off with an interview of the couple, the main couple. Baek Hyun-woo and Hong Hae-in, or as I'm gonna call Baek Hyun-woo going forward, Baek So-ban. Because Kwenyana.
I mean,
is
we
out
can just
here.
call him Mkwenyi.
Well, actually,
Because we are Goro to kimchi, so you know we're gonna bring that South African flavor.
now.
Okay, yes.
So, Kwenyana, I think things worthy of mentioning about Kwenyana are the fact that, first of all, he's good looking. I mean...
And how?
Guys, Baek Hyun-woo was nothing short of perfection. It actually got annoying.
We meet the couple, like Ulwanda Neem said, when they are being interviewed about how they met and how they got married. So, let's back it up a little bit. Baek Hyun-woo, Baek Mkwenyi, he was, he trained as a lawyer. So, very bright. He is the apple of Yongduri's eyes, the village. And he's really made it. He's become a lawyer. Graduated from Seoul National University. Smart. He starts working at Queen's Group.
Oh, yes.
At Queen's Group, he meets this hapless intern that he is deathly afraid is going to get fired because girl does not know anything. Girl does not even know how to fix a photocopier.
She kicked it multiple times.
She kicked it multiple times, yes. And he saved that photocopier from her. And he's busy trying to cause her, go to, girl, you need to get it together, otherwise you're going to get fired. And then how are you going to live, you know? So he's oblivious.
And he's out there saying, already your clothes are, you're wearing your granny's clothes. Your clothes have holes in them.
At the time, girl, is she not wearing Chanel? Is she not wearing, I'm guessing if there was a Christian Louboutin. I don't know if she was actually wearing Christian Louboutin. But anyway, girl is dressed to the T. She is dripping
high fashion
in money. But she's also, she's home again. She's for lack of a better word, socially closed off, socially awkward, some might say. Yeah. When she's an intern and doesn't mix well with her co-workers. But actually it's because she is the granddaughter of that family and she's just working her way from the bottom up. Basically, she's going to inherit most of that group, so she doesn't need to hang out with the plebs. Who does she need to hang out with?
Plebs for what? And for who?
And so that is how Baek Hyun-woo, and he was like, I don't know, somehow in that he fell in love with her, and she also started to dig him.
Yeah.
And then he made grand promises of, you know what, listen, this is my salary every year. I will look after.
He opened himself up.
He had a
just
plan.
like,
He's like, I know you're not very competent.
We've got orchards. We've got
Yes!
supermarkets
Yes!
in our village. My family.
I don't want to scare you, but
I don't want to.
my family owns a supermarket.
That's where I come from.
Yes. So you're gonna be taken care of. And then she's trying to tell him, like, listen, no, you don't have to worry about me like that. And so when he found out,
how did he find out? I can't remember.
I cannot remember, and I think they spliced that
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
But then he got spooked because he realized, no. She's proper chevel. She is. And here I was making a fool of myself saying, I'm going to take care of you. No, she can buy Young Duty basically.
My village this, my supermarket this, well, my family
No. They own, they're rich. Anyways.
Yeah.
And he runs away. And then in the flip of the trope, she comes after him.
With a
helicopter.
In the middle of the orchard.
Hey! That is blowing in the wind, bruh. Like, and a field and cherry blossoms and stuff. I don't even know what flowers were there. But then she flips it around and says, no, I'll take care of you, and you'll never have to cry because of me. My family's a little bit difficult, but you know,
I got you.
We got each other kind of thing.
We got each other, yeah.
Fast forward, the cameras are now off of that interview. And then, actually, they're barely speaking with each other.
Kicks in. It turns out that they are. They I won't even say they're enemies, because to be enemies there has to be some form of interaction of, you know, hate and, you know, throwing daggers. Like, they don't talk at all unless they're at work, and even then, it's just like, you know, instructions being laid down on.
Yeah. Because she is his boss. He's the legal director at Queen's Group.
Yeah.
Very competent at his job. But of course, him and the head of the department store, which is Hong Heng, come to loggerheads a lot. Especially when it comes to, interestingly enough, profits, which she's all about. That's the profits. And he's more about preserving human relationships, or trying to preserve the livelihood of the vendors.
Sticking to the law.
Exactly.
Law-abiding citizens. Because the things that Hong Yin wants to do, he's just like, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's gonna get us into legal trouble because it's not fair. Yeah.
She's just like, what do you mean? Like, that's money.
Yeah.
Money's walking away. Can't have that. But anyways, so that's how their relationship is. And I think then we fast forward to the memorial.
Yes.
That's also a big...
Oh my God.
This is all in episode 1.
It is!
Movie 1. Episode 1. And so the memorial is for Hong Hain's grandmother. So remember, everyone is living at the Hong compound. Let's call it the Hong compound. Yeah. Everyone lives there, but then now, obviously, since the patriarch is Harabuji, and his wife passed away, he's got a live-in
housekeeper
but slash girlfriend slash
quaps. She is his quaps,
essentially. 25 years deep.
Cohabitation.
25 years deep.
Yeah.
And so now we meet the entire family. We don't actually meet. We do.
We meet them.
We have a brief introduction to everyone, but the key thing about this whole scene is the fact that the husbands, or those the men basically who've married into the Hong family, be it a cousin who has the Hong surname, or as long as if you've got Hong blood, whoever is married to you, that is a man, is in the kitchen.
Bayakotiza.
They are cooking.
They are the bakotis
for the memorial.
The memorial gay. I guess it essentially is the death anniversary. So on the death anniversary, then they prepare a lot of food, especially the favorite food of the dearly departed, and they lay out a banquet of sorts with either a placard with the departed's name or their picture.
Yeah.
In other dramas that I've seen, and
there's specific
Confers.
foods, I think, but also foods that person liked to eat.
Yes, and there's a certain way that
it's done.
It's laid out, and that's all I know.
It's not a blanket thing. I might say it might be maybe family specific. Like families will have a way to commemorate or remember the person that's passed away in their family, but then not to that level, because as far as I've seen, most of them in Korea, the K-dramas, are there's a basic way and then they add intricacies according to the family. So it is done. It's just becomes more specific as you dial into that specific family. So yes, the husbands are now in the kitchen. They are the ones who are preparing all of that food. That must be then set up for the memorial. But I think it's also food that's going to be eaten by everyone who's there. Because there's a bunch of people. Yeah. It's full. There's delegates, because I mean this is a Chebo family. Yeah. There's officials, there's ministers, there's all of these things. So they must eat. But who's making the food? It's the husbands slash mkwenyis / male makotis.
Makoti ke masichazelele. Yeah. So basically in South Africa, in most of our cultures, if you marry into a family, the woman leaves her family and marries into the husband's family, because henceforth she carries his name, the children will carry his name. Some take it really deep, introduce to people who are not no longer there. But anyways, but in that family, now you assume your makoti duties. That means you are not the makoti just of Ugai. You are the makoti of the family. And depending on how kindly predisposed your new family is, that might come with different duties and
expectations.
Burdens, actually.
Basically, just start carrying things and doing things and
if there's work at home, like a funeral or a wedding,
you're carrying that.
You are the caterer, you are the cleaner, you're looking after the older people, the
coffee and tea maker, you are the food
scone baker, you are everything. You do not rest
because it's a touchy one.
Baekhyun is one of those. And he got married into the home family, where him and his wife had promised, we're going to do this thing together. As long as we are together, he said, as long as we can do this together, I can handle anything that is thrown at me, even a difficult family. Only to come to find that he is actually alone in this, because Hong In is staying silent
and letting things just kind of happen
and be said to Baekhyun,
and be said to him
by her parents, by her, who strangely enough also do rely on him and his legal expertise, but in the home they've silenced him. He doesn't have much of a say. He's not his own person, and boy is tired.
And now enter the next stage, where now he's so tired that he consults his friends, his lawyer friends, and then he's like, okay guys, I need one of y'all to represent me, because I've made a decision. I can't deal with this anymore. This is not working. I am not okay mentally. He went to see a
with a brilliant cameo
right,
from the actor who played his brother in It's Okay Not to Be Okay.
Yes!
Hey! Oh, I love that actor.
Loved it.
I love that actor. Yeah.
So he even went and consulted, and the doctor was just like, yo man, you're going through the most actually. And
he gave him a hug at the end, didn't
he? He did. And then he's like, I don't know how you're still standing. I don't know how you're doing it, because what you're describing to me and what you're telling me is the most. Like, I don't understand it. So he's consulted with his psychiatrist, and then he's come to a decision that for my own sanity, I am going to get a divorce. Now he's fully aware of the consequences of the divorce, divorcing a Chebo family, or this specific one,
Hong family.
Hong family. Let me not generalize this specific family. I mean, because he's had instances where he's had to come in from a legal standpoint to kind of either be a buffer or slash an enforcer of sorts for people who've betrayed the Hong family, quote unquote, and this would be seen as a betrayal. So he's like, okay, guys, one of y'all has to defend me, and then they're like, yes. Nope. So actually, that's not gonna happen because I'm not willing to commit career suicide for you. Just keep it going. Like, what do you? They just keep it. And he's just like, nope, I'm doing it. He draws up the papers. He goes to see his family, and I've made this decision. I'm going to divorce her. I've drawn up the papers. And his family is upset because they are, in a way, indirectly also benefiting from him being married to this family. I mean, as I guess it should be expected. But it's not as...
it's not monetarily.
Yeah, it's just not monetarily, yeah.
The
just
fact that their son has done so well that he's even married into this uber
exactly.
rich.
Oh, before he left, Hong Hae-in got a call from her doctor. I think she'd gone in for some tests, and she got a call, and the doctor's like, no, I've got the test results, but we can't give them to you over the phone. You need to come in
with
your guardian. And so now she's on her way out of the building, the department store building, or the Queen's corporate building, and she meets Baek-hyun-woo at the lifts, and then she's like, okay, great, I've been trying to reach you. Why aren't you answering your phone? Come with me. We need to go somewhere. And he's like, no, me, I'm not going. Thank you. I've got plans, and that's it. They go their separate ways. So now he's coming back from his family, from telling them that this is the decision I've made. And he gets home and he grabs the papers from his office, goes to, because also they're in separate bedrooms, by the way. Separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
Grabs the paper from his bedroom. Yeah. Makes his way towards her bedroom, knocks, comes in, and then she's like, okay, good. I will go first. I've got something to say and I'll go first. And then she's like, well, I've just been diagnosed with brain tumor and I've been given 3 months to live.
And it's inoperable.
It's like a mist. They say it's not like a single tumor or like tumor.
It's not a solid tumor.
Yeah, it's not a solid. It's more spread out over her brain, and it's inoperable basically. Baek-hyun-woo hugs her, tells her he loves her, and yeah.
But he's basically rejoicing that now he doesn't have to go through the trial of a divorce. He just has to wait 3 months. 3 months, CJ. And then he's out of the marriage in the other way.
Okay, so that's just an introduction. Now I think we can focus on the specific things that kind of stood out and grabbed us as we were watching. I think maybe let's start with Hong Hae-in and her brother.
Yeah.
These two are going up against each other because the grandfather said that the one who gets the 1 trillion club.
Is it the 3 trillion club?
1 trillion. 1 trillion won club. It's like an elite club of people whose profits exceed 1 trillion won. Will inherit the whole group. So now, I think that's actually a critical thing because then this is where all of these problems come in. Hong Hae-in is doing well. She's at 899 billion won.
and trust, she is counting.
And she's counting. And she's doing her utmost best to try and get to the other side without, upsetting, actually I'm not going to lie, with upsetting Baek-hyun-woo, because then he's the one who's like, no, you can't get your profits this way. You need to be ethical with it. Brother on this side here, he's just like, me, I'm going to do it in one go. I'm going to sign one deal and everything's going to line up, and then I'm going to hit the 1 trillion won club in one go. And then this is where now we meet interesting characters.
Yeah.
Like
Yoon Song. So how he comes onto the scene is he is this stock market whiz, I guess, investor. He's been living overseas. He's quite open about that. He was adopted to the US, and then he grew up there and made a big success of himself. How? We don't know. But now he's come back. He has a bag of money, and Suchol decides, and connections, yes. And Suchol decides, this is my meal ticket.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's going to get me to that 1 trillion won club. Now, come to find, Yun Sung, he came back with a name like Jake or something.
David Young?
Something like that. Anyway, some English.
Something
English name.
Something English, yeah.
Some English name. So, Naye Uhonge hears about him, and she wants to get Herka. Hersina.
Hersina.
Something like that. Herkina.
Herkina. They call it Herkina. But
All of the H's. Yes. she wants to get this brand into her department store in order to increase, of course, her profits.
She's getting into that club.
Exactly. And so she finds out that the person to speak with is this David Yoon.
Let's call him David Yoon.
Let's call him David Yoon, even if it isn't. David Yoon. So now she goes to this party. She's invited Baekhyun-woo, but because it looks better as a business person if she comes with her partner, because the Herkina people, the main dude, he is big into family. Almost like didn't they say it was a facade? He's actually got a girlfriend.
I was going to say, it's a front though.
He's a hypocrite.
Skeletons come out.
Skeletons have been tumbling out of his closet. But anyway, on the surface, he wants to project this family-friendly ethic, kind of thing. So Nayo Hongein goes to this party. Come to find out, no, she knows this brother, this David Yoon. This brother, when she was in university overseas, I think she did a semester or a year or business school. She went overseas to do business school. They almost dated. Or he was very interested in her.
I don't know, the levels of their relationship are not clear back then. It just seems they had some type of interaction.
Yes.
And then David Yoon keeps on later on, kind of like, adding salt to the wound, quote unquote, with Baekhyun-woo.
Yeah, because he did arrive. Baekhyun-woo did arrive. Looking so snazzy in his suit.
Came in and rescued the damsel in distress. But he keeps alluding when he's trying to make Baekhyun-woo jealous that me and Hae-in had an intricate, detailed relationship.
We had warm feelings towards each other.
But Hae-in never quite confirms it. It's just she's just like,
she wants the money. She wants Herkina, and she wants Herkina in her department store. Yeah. And so she's willing to meet with this David Yoon. She's like, the past is the past. Me, I'm married to this guy. And as far as she knows, the marriage is, she knows it's not okay, but she doesn't know
about the divorce. Oh yes, that's the other key thing. She because she revealed that she was sick just before Baekhyun-woo gave her the divorce papers. She doesn't find out that he wanted to divorce her until later.
So now in song,
he is the investor that's going to help Suchol get his one-hit wonder. So he's also the connect for Hae-in to get into to get Herkina in her department store.
Yeah.
Now Hae-in's mom finds out about this person. There's also Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace is a kind of butler of sorts. It's never quite clear. She just makes things happen for these chaebol families. So if it's a matchmaking thing,
she's there.
She makes things happen. Already she's coming with a little bit of salt and spice within her personality, because she's like, this Baekhyun-woo is from the backwaters of Yeongdo-ri.
I didn't put this.
I did not approve of this match.
I didn't match.
Hong Hae-in is the one who went outside of my wishes, says the Amazing Grace, who is not family, by the way, and chose her own partner. But the reason why she is so annoyed by this fact, like eternally, like for years, she's been carrying this grudge against Baekhyun-woo. She doesn't really see eye to eye with Hong Hae-in, and I think Hong Hong Hae-in is also like never really warms up to her smiles and her
I think
ingratiating
it's because
behavior.
she could just see through her.
She could see through her.
essentially, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah. But the reason Grace was so annoyed with this is because actually at some point they'd wanted David Yoon
to be matched with Hong Hae-in.
Yeah.
Then say because this is part of a bigger scheme
Yeah.
that involves
Mo Sul-hee.
Mo Sul-hee, the housekeeper / Makwapeni / 25-year girlfriend.
At her big age.
25 years. 25 years.
25, yeah, at her big age.
Quarter of a
Girlfriend.
century. Girlfriend.
Yes.
And David Yoon, Yoon Un-sung, who happens to be, we'll reveal the spoiler, the son of
Mo
So
Sul-hee.
he, Suchol's wife,
Dahe.
and the amazing
Grace.
Those are the 4 key enemies, basically.
I like to refer to them as the axis of evil.
The axis of evil. The 4 points of the axis of evil. And they have a plan.
Oof.
They have a plan. So Hong Hae-in needing David Yoon to help her with Harkina, I don't think was part of the plan. It was a welcome surprise from my joining the dots.
Yeah.
The main thing and the thing that they held on to was Sochol's plan. So Hong Hae-in and because now Baekhyun-woo is like the loving husband.
Yeah.
He is attentive, he's buying her flowers, but they also don't realize that in all of this they are falling back in love with each other. It's kind of like they're aware of it, but they're not aware of it, and they're not aware of it, but they're aware of it.
I think one of the main things that helped, well, it didn't help because this was terrible, but as part of her her illness, is that she would lose chunks of time.
Oh yeah.
Complete dissociation.
Sometimes she's somewhere and she doesn't know how to get back to her house.
Yes.
Or to her
She's-
Arabuji's house
Yeah.
or home, or
Yeah.
it's just like she's just all over.
And I must say that when I watched those scenes where I dreaded those scenes actually, because I'm like, Hong Hae-in is alone. What is going to happen in the next 5 minutes? And how much later is she going to come back to her senses? In the losing of chunks of time, I think there was one time where she missed an important appointment with Baekhyun-woo. And she said she was coming.
Yeah.
And she had it on her
Yeah.
on her schedule. She's like, no, I have to meet Baekhyun-woo.
Yeah.
Then she sat down.
She even cut something that I think Secretary Noor
Yes,
was
like cancel my
something. She's like,
appointments. It's
nope,
fine. I need to meet with my husband.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's
She missed it.
she missed it.
He left.
Yeah.
And then that was basically the straw that brought the
final,
camel's
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And in all of that, in between this now, so like we're going now, jumping between episode 1 and 7, or 1 and 8. They find out about trials that are going on. So the tumor can't be, nothing can be done in Korea. So the only possibility is for them to look at options overseas, and they find out about trials going on in Germany, and then she seemed as though she could be a candidate for one specific one in Germany, and then they've gotten to a point where now I think Baekhyun-woo is not pretending anymore. He really is concerned about her. His emotions are leaning the
towards
charge
her,
and
yeah.
leaning towards her. So he is genuinely interested in her getting better, even though he doesn't quite understand it, because then it means that, because he keeps fighting it, he keeps saying, okay, but then now I've just got to wait for 3 months, but then now why does it seem as though I don't want her to die, like, you know? So it's not a lot, there's a bit of tension there, but anyways, the trial in Germany, so they go away to Germany to start on the trial, to get her on the trial. White blood count is not where it needs to be, and while all of that is going on, the plot is unraveling at home, where now Mo Sul-hee, Yoon Un-sung, Amazing Grace, Dahe, Sochol's wife, their plan is literally coming to fruition, and their plan is to basically kick the queens out of their home, of their company. They take over, they take all of their money, and then
they destroy the Hong family.
They destroy the Hong family. Now the axis of evil have decided that they need to get Baek Hyun-woo out of the picture, so that their plan is unthwarted, and they may plan to make him the scapegoat. So they find, after, because now the couple is gone, they break into their home, they find the divorce papers that he'd left in his safe. Then they show the family. So this is now to plant doubt in the family, in the Hong family, that you see he's hiding such things. So Hong Yin's parents are trying to contact her and say, hey, stuff is happening here.
Yeah.
They're busy having a honeymoon of their life. Okay, not the honeymoon. So they're having a second go at it, or revisiting those places.
And really
emotions are
connecting.
coming up and really connecting. But then that trip obviously ends badly, because then eventually the family gets through to Hae-in and they tell her that, hey, he actually planned to divorce you. They send her a picture of the divorce settlement paper, and she flips out. They come back to Korea they came back on the same flight, but then basically it was over, and now World War I has begun. The Axis of Evil's plan happens. They kick the Hongs out of their company, first of all. They kick them out of their home. There's paparazzi and reporters everywhere. And Baek Hyun-woo, after being kicked out of his home, comes to the rescue. And then
begins the Yeongduri chapter.
End of episode 8. They are in Yeongduri, which is Baek Hyun-woo's home.